Dude, I'm new to this, dude. I'm new to this. But yeah. So let's start off episode 4 with a banger, dude. So I have a question for you, Golden.
Yeah,
Just who is Golden? Who are you? How do you see yourself in the melee
great
world?
question. Well, I've tried pretty hard to not let the foremost aspects of my identity be as a melee player. I failed in that regard. My identity is as a melee puff from the southeast, specifically Tennessee. Um, I'm I'm a prospective law student,
Hell yeah.
and yeah. I just play a lot of games basically. I have a major. I play Melee on the side. I play competitive Pokemon. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a really good game. But yeah, I'm just kind of a viber who just plays Puff
Hell yeah.
and yeah.
So you play Smogon or?
Yep.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
I dabble in VGC as well, but I kind of get my ass kicked, so I don't want to claim that as something that I partake in.
Hmm.
But
So,
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no. You can keep talking. Go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I just mess around with a whole bunch of different like competitive Pokemon formats. Like I wouldn't say I'm like super adept at any particular one. I just kind of explore.
Do you have a favorite game which you like to compete in?
Well, on Smogon, you can basically compete in any generation with any tier, but I like to just compete in the current one. So Gen 8, which is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Oh, sick,
But
sick.
yeah.
So,
hmm
which one was your first competitive game? Melee, or was it something else?
I would actually say my first competitive game was Melee because I started playing Melee in the summer of 2016.
Hmm.
And I started out as a kid who liked Brawl a lot. That was like my childhood game
Brawl.
basically. Yeah, I just played a ton of Brawl. Never in a competitive way, but I still played Brawl. I learned come one day like late 2015, I figure out what Project M is. I'd
Oh,
heard about Melee before like in passing, but I didn't really know that it was like this much more fluid Smash game cuz at that point, I was 15. I was six. I was like 15,
youngin.
going on 16. So my brain was not nuanced to the point where I could recognize just because Melee is older doesn't mean it's worse.
Yeah.
So, so I figure I learn what Project M is. I do a little bit of research into it, kind of ignore it for about half a year. Then come June-ish 2016, I installed Dolphin, get everything set up, play a little bit of Project M, kind of feeling eh. Try out Melee a couple days later, kind of love at first sight. I was a Marth main because when I was a kid, I played Marth in Brawl and thought he was broken, and I wasn't really that wrong. He's pretty good in Brawl.
He's so fun in Brawl.
He's a lot better in this game though. Uh,
That's
but
for
yeah,
sure.
so I played Marth for a little bit. There was actually a major in Memphis called What the Fox 2. There was What the Fox 1 and there was What the Fox 2. And that was my first IRL tournament, basically. And I went as a Marth main. I mean, I got my ass kicked. What do you expect, obviously? First tournament and it's a major. I was actually in Mango's pool. I was hoping to play
No.
him. I did not make it that far, unfortunately. But yeah, so I just kind of grind with Marth a little bit, learn the really basics of the game, and then I'm kind of thinking about playing a different character because I'm like, Marth isn't really for me because I just kind of like to swing a lot. And I mean, you could say that means Marth was for me, but like long term, it's going to be really exploitable, I think.
Yeah.
That was my thought process back then because I was like actually watching top level melee like at that point. And so then Hungrybox wins Evo, and I'm like, all right, Puff's my character, let's go. And the rest is history, basically.
Dude, that's a hype origin story, honestly.
Yeah.
I love everyone that comes from like the whole, yeah, I played Brawl, but then Project M.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
saw
that's a
that.
pretty that's a common thing actually. Or at
Yeah.
least just the Project M to Melee pipeline, so to speak.
People don't talk about that too often. I feel like it's like separate than a doc kid. You know what I mean? Like there's doc kids, and then there's like the Project M pipeline kids.
Yeah, and then there's like the I don't even know what you would call the people who started playing in like 2016, 2017 because they're not really net play kids. Like that's not for another year or two, but they're not either doc kids or really Project M pipeline kids either. They're like the lost generation.
Yeah,
They're kinda doc kids. Like they're a lot of the people who got into the game around that point got in because of the documentary.
Yeah, I guess they still got into it because of the documentary, even if the documentary didn't come out like recently for them. They
Mhm.
still watched it. I mean, I watched the doc like when I was first getting into it. I'm assuming almost everyone did.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
No, for sure.
Apex 2015 might have
Mm,
offset that year honestly because that was like one of the most
Mhm.
viewed like just tournaments in general, not even just like melee, just
True.
tournaments. You know what I mean? Like in this
Yeah, I
iconic
really-
moments, like the Chillin' Dude rap, the 5-0, Bizarro Flame, the greats came back. Like was Ken playing against Chris?
PC Chris, yeah.
Easy Chris,
Mhm.
yeah, like stuff like that. It was really just a legendary melee tournament. So
Yeah.
I think just a lot of people were watching.
I really wish I could. I really wish I could go back in time and watch that live. Unfortunately, I didn't
Mhm.
really play or watch any melee then. But yeah.
Dude, I saw the
It's-
5-0 live, dude.
It's actually so crazy. So this is a total aside, but I remember when I was watching Metagame, I completely forgot that they used to play best of 3 until top 8 at majors. That's fucked.
Dude,
I
at
mean-
Evo, it was still best of 3 until grand
Until top
finals.
3, yeah. Yeah, no, that was until like we left Evo, but that's Evo, you know? Like even our big tournaments like Apex and Big House and stuff, you know? Like
Yeah.
you could hypothetically get wobbled 8 times to not make top 8 to get 9th at a major. That's crazy.
That's where we banned
Yeah.
it. That's where we banned it.
Yeah.
Best of threes have their place, but that place is not top 64 of a major.
Yeah. No, they're so I can get a cheesy win in pools and then
But you get a ban. You get the ban of D, so it's all right.
no,
Yeah.
it's great.
I mean, you got your good and your bad. with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's
well,
all
I kind of wanted to kind of segue that just best of three talk and banning FD talk to a question I wanted to pose to y'all, which is something I've seen kind of in the Puff discourse is Puff Fox on FD is awful, close to unwinnable, and we should get a secondary for it. I kind of lie close to that side, but I don't think it's like unwinnable. I just think it's if the Fox knows how to abuse FD against Puff, it's like very, very, very uphill battle, and it's also an easy stage to get a secondary for
True.
because
Mhm.
so many different characters can chain grab him. Then there, yeah.
Yeah, you and I know too, because Toussaint and I briefly talked about this last time.
Mhm.
And Toussaint, are you still of the opinion that it's just like not worth it?
I always
to pick
will
up a
be.
secondary?
It's not worth it. Hey, wait, that
I
wasn't my
think it
opinion.
is.
I think FD is not that bad. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I know you're a crazy person. I think that I'm with you, Golden. That there's probably there's a bunch of characters hypothetically you could play, but I think there's probably 4-ish ones that make sense. It's like you
Yeah.
could play Martha's probably the best pick if you can have a good Marth.
Mhm.
And then it's
100%.
like you could probably make an argument. And then in some order after that, it's like Pikachu, Fox, and Peach are the other 3 characters I think you could probably play on FD, and it
You
like
know-
makes sense.
You know which one I've been trying?
You've been playing Pikachu, right?
Yep.
Pikachu's dope.
I love Pikachu, and like everyone I talk to about it basically says that's such a big investment for something that's like not gonna really make that much of a difference, and isn't the best matchup for Pikachu regardless of the chain grab, anyways. All valid points, but I also just really, really like playing the character. I think it gives me a cool new perspective on the game when I'm able to take breaks from Puff, play a completely different kind of character. I don't think it's a bad thing for Puff. Also, Puff doesn't require like the most upkeep in the world. You kind of just have to
Agreed.
keep your punish game sharp and movement sharp, and you have the time to dedicate to a secondary if you want to.
You also already played Marth already, and you dropped him. You realize it's just not for you. You know.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think I could learn how to play Marth in that matchup, but I feel like Foxes are hyper focused on either learning that matchup to the nth degree, especially on FD, or they have like a pocket Sheik that they're just gonna pull out.
Yeah.
And I don't trust my crappy Marth to beat a Fox main Sheik. Like I just don't.
But would you rather play Pikachu Sheik?
Yeah, I think on FD the chain grab seems bad, but there are actually decent escape options that Pikachu has from it.
Hmm.
And Sheiks don't know that matchup. Sheiks can kind of intuitively play the
Sure.
Sheik Marth matchup because it's kind of like, okay, Marth's main tools in neutral are fair and down tilt. Depending on which one they're relying on, I'll kind of play around that. Then you can kind of just intuit your way from there. But if you're a secondary Sheik and you're trying to beat a Pikachu, what do you know other than like just try to get a chain grab that doesn't even like work all the time anyways? I feel like they're just going to be bamboozled.
Or like a chain grab that you haven't practiced as well.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the thing too.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
no one's like unless you're from like MDVA or Arizona. Like I doubt you've ever practiced the Sheik chain grab on Pikachu. Even though it's kind of similar to the like Sheik chain grab, like Sheik Ditto
Ditto.
chain grab.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've been trying to learn Fox for that matchup, and I did it like earlier in quarantine. I was playing Fox on FD, and I dropped it for a bit, but I think it's probably worth it. Even though beating Foxes in the Ditto is hard sometimes, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it's still a chain grab.
Mm-hmm. My thing is like it's a hard matchup for Puff on the stage. It's not an unwinnable matchup for Puff on the stage, and like to be completely honest, even when my Pikachu gets good, like it's kind of competent right now, but when it gets good, I still think it might just be like a coin flip as to if my Puff would be more likely to beat someone's Fox there than my Pikachu. But I think it really this is kind of something that I borrowed from IRL sports. Sometimes just throwing them a different look on a situation that you are kind of okay with losing regardless. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that
True.
like using their counter pick as a I'm gonna change the pace, see if this is something they know how to beat, and if they don't, they still don't have momentum on my Puff, and it kind of forces them to adapt multiple times. I think that could fuck with people. I really do.
I
I
agree
agree.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think FD. Yeah, it's just it feels so hard. I think the main thing about it is it's really it's fine until you get behind. That stage is like so hard to play from behind. I was talking to Solo about it. It's because there's like no platforms to approach from. All of Puff's approaches become reactable.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't approach on that stage. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, and you can watch what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's
know.
honestly how it feels like. It's just like, oh, I gotta watch what happens, dude. Maybe he'll come in. Maybe he won't. Maybe I'll get a CC grab. Maybe I'll get shined after.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's really can be an RNG stage because like I'll play versus good Foxes and they'll be like beating me on other stages and then I just win on FD and I'm like, what?
Right.
Oh yeah. I think it's the type of thing too, where another problem I have with it is the lack of platforms just makes your punish game so much worse too. You know, like even though FD is supposed to be a stage where your punish game gets a lot better, I find not being able to just rest someone when they hit the platform is so annoying. Like you actually have to
Yeah.
edge guard on that stage, and edge guarding's hard.
It's so hard. But edge
Yeah, I
guarding
feel
also
like-
gets easier on that stage too because there is no platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
a
they have
that's
less
a big
mix-ups.
boon. Yeah, like having to deal with the side B edge cancel and up B to top platform are like they give me nightmares.
Thank
So
Mhm.
that's a plus for sure. I think that the main issue with the punish game is the lack of the platforms to get like RTC rest and like up air rest on the platforms. Like that sucks. But I think that like Puff does have the grab confirms anyways. Like at low percent, they can DI behind and you're just screwed, and that sucks. But
Mm.
aside from that, there's usually a decent string you can get. The
Mhm.
thing that sucks for me about that stage is the stage is so wide
Yeah.
that you'll tech chase them all around the stage, and they're still like not off stage. And once they're off stage, like it's not like they're gonna tech to the corner because they
Mm.
don't have to ever really.
Mhm. Unless they like mess up. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but and I have to lab this more, but from the labbing I've done on rectangle controllers, the 1.0 cardinal DI behind just gets them out at 40. Like
Box?
they can't you yeah, on boxer frame 1.
Okay, first
If
time I
they
was like,
just
whoa.
if you can't get anything, the combo doesn't work anymore.
But
Like up throw back arrow or whatever at 40
if
on
you
DI
down
behind,
throw,
it doesn't. You down throw?
if you down throw, they DI'd in.
They can react.
Yeah,
They can just react and DI it out.
God.
I do actually think down throw has some unexplored benefits, both like in the Fox Falco and the Falcon matchup. I was practicing you can down throw, and if they do no DI and they're at like higher percents, you do dash back pivot forward smash and they die.
Oh my god.
Huh.
The pivot, dude.
Interesting.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like I'm gonna go for it in tournament, mess it up, and just like contemplate why I'm on this planet. But
Yeah.
it makes me feel like I'm smart in the real time.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
You definitely get the crowd hype with that one, to be honest. I'll be in the crowd cheering.
What the-
Yo, you told me.
Speaking
yeah.
of crowds cheering, we want to talk about some IRL majors.
Wait, I actually have 2 points I want to
Yeah, go for
talk
it.
about the FD thing.
Go for it.
My first point is I gotta ask you a question about our theoretical stage that we made up last time, me and Faust.
Oh yeah.
If Dreamland had the same blast zones as FD,
Mhm.
would FD or Dreamland, which one's better, FD or Dreamland at that point, if Dreamland has the same blast zones?
It's tough.
That is tough. I actually think FD would be better. I think Fox's recovery is like 10 times better on Dreamland than you could call it on FD.
Mm-hmm.
And like at that point the platforms are kind of helping him as much as they're helping
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
think
So
it's an interesting thought experiment, yeah.
I think if you make it Battlefield platforms, it gets a lot better for Puff instead of Dreamland. It's just the side platforms on Dreamland are way too high.
yeah, that's true.
You actually have to like make commitments to hit them, whereas on Battlefield you can just like full hop up air and it's not a real thing.
I asked that question because it's like, is it the stage or is it really the blast zones that just, or is it just
Well,
really
that stage is just awful everything. Like the no platforms and the blast zones make it super bad. But I think we all agree probably that FD is worse than Stadium. Even though Stadium's blast zones are worse than FD's. Like they're slightly lower and they're closer to the sides as well.
Yeah, I just learned how to play on Pokemon Stadium like last week, I'm not gonna lie.
Literally all I do is like try to reaction tech chase rest on that
I
stage.
kind of like that stage. Like I vibe with frozen Pokemon at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hate it.
There's some matchups I really like it in, and there's some like I actually don't mind it against Fox that much. At least as much as like Transformation Stadium, but I really haven't liked it very much against Falcon, for instance.
It's also really bad. I think it's Marth's best stage by like a mile.
Oh, really? I think it's
Really?
FD still. I think it's FD.
Oh, now this is one of my controversial opinions.
Hmm.
I think that FD is only marginally worse for Puff than Dreamland in that matchup. I think
I
FD,
used to think that.
Against Marth?
I think FD is great against Marth as Puff. I really do.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Really? I used to think that. I disagree now.
Part of the way that good Marths will camp you is using platforms. Like you can't just dash dance against Puff. She has ways to beat that. But if you're doing like Waveland off fairs and shit, and you're just doing like annoying edge cancels to recover, and you're doing like they just give him like even more mix-ups when he really doesn't need anymore to be good in that matchup. And on FD, that's not a thing. And if you get an up air, you can usually get like about 7 more.
Yeah, that's true too. And the edge guarding is also pretty straightforward on that stage too, because he doesn't have the platform mix-ups, even though they're typically not as good for Marth as they are for like Fox or Sheik or something.
You don't have to
But
also, you also don't have to worry about like accidentally landing on the platform and then you just get up tilted for it.
my God, yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
if you get knocked down on a platform, the tipper tech chase, like you don't have to worry about that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. No, I could probably buy it. The thing I just really don't like, maybe it's because Golden, you play Sika too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sometimes I'm just playing against him and I'm just like trying to play on FD and he just scouts my landing and I get grabbed because I can't go to the platform instead of landing. He grabs me and I'm like, oh, I got grabbed at 50. I guess I'm dead.
Just
I just go back to the ledge usually.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah,
no, going
ledge,
to
ledge
ledge is good.
Ledge is good because platform you're just reset neutral for free card, so, and to avoid those sketchy situations where you get kill confirmed and red and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't have that, you need to either kind of trick them or you can just go to ledge.
Yeah, that's true.
So the second point I had about FD was that in the Fox Puff matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were saying that Puff is very limited in her approaches. I believe that Fox is extremely limited in his approaches as well. The only thing that really annoys us is the gun, truthfully, because we're just getting our percent build up over and over. But he still has to commit to a neutral, option to like confirm a kill, right? And all we need is this one neutral exchange to like confirm a kill. So I like to think that like for FD, it's not that bad in the sense that like you kind of know what the Fox is gonna do if you know the player at least, because the player tends to do the same thing over and over. At least that's something I've noticed, at least for some Fox players. Like
The one thing I will, kind of building off what you were saying too, the one thing that I will say about FD is Fox's full hop actually feels like a commitment on that stage.
Yeah.
Whereas on every other stage, it's like it's the most ignorant thing against Puff. It's just like an execution test that he gets to do for pressing the X button. Like, whereas on every other stage, he just like full hop on FD, he full hops, and then it's like a mix up whether he double jumps or not.
Right.
And then
to push back on that, my opinion's kind of the polar opposite of what you just said, Faust. Or
Really?
I think that he can do full hop nairs and full hop drills, and they are commitments, and maybe even more of a commitment than a platform stage, but I don't think they're very big commitments at all. I feel like Puff has to pretty much hard read Fox's drift and his timing in order to actually get a true punish by like grabbing him for full hopping or like even just bearing him. Like the thing that where Puff runs into trouble in the Fox matchup is when Fox kind of can pinpoint where Puff is going to be when she lands or when she's already on the ground, and he does a full hop, and he kind of has a bunch of options, all of which kind of beat shield, not all of which beat our crouch cancel, but a lot of stuff is safe on crouch cancel. Like people think that like a fast fall low nair shine is unsafe on crouch, but it isn't. Like you can just do it really.
Yeah.
Like
it's practically safe. If you like are a god, you can grab in between the nair and the shine, but it's like not realistic.
If you SDI away, it's a lot easier.
yeah, that's what like M2K's Marth would do a lot, and that's something that's good. And there's stuff that Puff can do to fight back against it. I just feel like Fox can abuse the full hop mix-ups and kind of get a feel for how the Puff wants to respond, and then just pick basically any of his options that don't lose to exactly what Puff is trying to do. And I know it's like a two-player game, obviously, but like I feel like Fox's decisions are pretty much low risk, like 90% of the time on that stage. Because I actually, going back to like what I'm disagreeing with Faust about, I think that when Fox wants to get away or wants to bait you and he jumps to a platform, I think that's like prime real estate for Puff to read that and up air and get a combo. Because even on FD, if you up air Fox out of the air and he does some crazy SDI, you might not have a combo. If you up air Fox on a platform stage and he lands on the platform, you always have a combo.
That's true. No, I guess I hadn't thought about the SDI because like a lot of the time when I play against Foxes, I like they never like that's not been a problem unless it's like the second up air. But like if I read at a full hop and just up air him at like 30, he's dead.
This is true.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm talking about. It feels like the risk reward for full hopping at like those like early mid percents, like 30, 40, is just really, really bad for him sometimes. And obviously you do like have to learn how to beat it, and that's a timing mix up that's always going to be in Fox's favor just because up air has like a timing window, whereas full hop back air or nair doesn't. But I don't know. I feel like it's actually easier to punish that, whereas like on something like Battlefield, he can just bail. Like if he full hops and then sees that, oh, he's like gonna read me and try to up air me on like my way down or something with a short hop up air. He just jumps to top platform and then then you're fucked. Like
that's why Pokemon Stadium is good now because it doesn't have a top platform.
I tried with that stage in that matchup. Seriously, it's kind of the fact that it's wide is annoying sometimes, but it's not. Is it as wide as FD? I feel like it's not as wide. It might
I
be.
actually don't know.
I don't know either.
Now like just thinking about it, I don't know which is bigger. I think the stage might be wider, but the blast zones are closer. So, but it's close either way. They're both big ass stages. And both are not great for Puff, but
both are definitely not great for Puff.
No.
Is longest ledge to ledge stage. Okay, yeah. So Paladin has us in chat.
I see.
So I think we've talked about Fox on FD enough. Do we want to talk about? We have some IRL majors coming up. We have one in July, and then we have one in September.
Wait, is the one in July Summit?
Summit, yeah, Summit's the one in July. And so far, the people who are going to that are, Leffen, Amsa, Cody, Moki, Mango, Zane, Plup, SFAT, Pipsqueak. Yeah, that's
Leffen already.
Yeah, I said Leffen.
Yeah,
I said Leffen and Amsa.
I'll take your word for that one, but that sounds like a good list, a complete list.
And then there's going to be 6 vote-ins, and I think there's one more at the Rollback Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You're aiming for that one, right, too?
Yeah, I want to win that.
Yeah, I think you can. You obviously at Pot of Gold you did really well. It's just like
I just have to play well.
You just have to play well.
Exactly. If I don't, I am gonna lose.
Are you gonna campaign if you don't make it in through that, or are you...
Honestly, fuck no. I don't think I have the.
It's too much.
It's too much. Maybe it depends on how I lose. If I lose Rollback Rumble, and I'm just so salty, maybe I'll do it. But like going up against HBox, Axe, and others, dude, I'm just gonna be pissed.
Are they gonna campaign?
Yeah,
HBox will almost certainly campaign, and he'll get in because he is like, I think, is he the biggest Smash streamer right now?
They don't even have to campaign. They just have to sign up to be nominated, and they're like in guaranteed.
TBH, they could just honestly pay for themselves into. I have that mindset that like they make so much money off the game, they could literally just pay themselves in.
Oh yeah, they could buy themselves like, or give someone the money to buy the like.
No, you can vote for yourself.
Bring a friend pass. Yeah, I know, but you can't buy like the bring a friend pass. I don't think unless you're for yourself. Unless you're going. No, you definitely can. You definitely can.
But they don't want to be the +1. They want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
No, I remember Mike Hayes bought it and then gave it to Westballs when he made it in. So you can definitely do that. Yeah, this was at like Summit 4 or whatever, whichever one Mike Hayes was at.
He was that one.
Yeah, I forget which one he was at though. It was the one with Crush, so I think it was 4.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I don't know if this is in the stream window, but my dog is currently digging my bed. That's Coco. She is a poodle.
That's not Grace?
Poodle. No, Grace is on the ground right now. She's the Shih Tzu.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we got Summit and
Riptide.
I mean, any predictions? I mean, it's kind of just it's hard to say that there's going to be like a super big gap in the status quo. I guess you could be like, how are Amsa and Leffen going to do? Because we haven't seen them against American competition lately.
I think Amsa is going to underperform, but I think My hot take is Leffen's gonna beat Zayn with his Sheik.
Really?
I don't think that's
I
happening.
think Leffen will beat Zayn with his Sheik.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think it's likely, but it's like a he could get lucky, and like if Axe gets in, like he could skirt in by beating Axe, and like after Axe beats Zayn or something. But I actually think Leffen has been looking really well. Like we talked about this last time. There was the European Coliseum where Leffen literally didn't drop a game. He 3-0'd like every player in Europe. And like the Europeans are good.
I'm not a European believer, dude. When it comes to like the top USA players in comparison to like Leffen, you know.
I don't know, dude. Like we've had I don't know what
Golden,
rank.
where do you go?
I don't know where Prof was last in 2019, but he was like I think he was ranked above you, wasn't he?
He was. But like
yeah.
I just think that the level is the levels is very different when you're talking about like the top 5 and stuff, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh no, for sure. I think that he is it's like the type of thing where I think he's gonna confidently beat anyone that isn't like Zayn or Mango, probably.
Yeah.
I still am such a firm believer that Leffen is number 3. Like easily number 3.
He basically every time he's played Wizard recently he's lost it, no?
Really? I haven't been watching
Zayn?
him play Wizzy.
No, Leffen.
Leffen? No. He lost to him I think only like once at like Smash and Splash. Not once, but
no,
like,
he lost to him at a summit, and he also lost to him at a.
Well, we can look at this.
He got second.
We can look this up.
We could. Get on it, Faust. Get on it.
Wizrobe Leffen. He beat him at the most recent summit, the most recent land summit.
Where Plump Hbox was
Leffen beat Wizard.
So lifetime, which is not a helpful stat. They're 5-4 for Leffen and so the last one Leffen won
so
in pools at Summit 9. That was the one where like Leffen had the death pool for him. He had Axe and Wizzy, who like everyone thought he was gonna lose to both of them, and then he beat them. And then he lost to him at Summit 8, which was the one Axe won, and then he lost to him at Smash and Splash, which was right before that. So it's hard to say with Wizzy.
I swear Wizzy got one at like a European tournament like 2
Yeah, that was a dream hack.
Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah, so in between then, Leffen won at Summit 7.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so no,
yeah, I think Wizzy could beat him for sure.
I mean, if they're 5-4.
Yeah, it's kind of anyone's game at that point.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard to say. That's a matchup too. He won't have that much practice going into Summit, just because there's like not that many good Falcons in Europe. I think there's Istar, or Istar, the Greek/British Falcon.
He's Welsh, I think, and Greek. I think he's from Greece, but he lives in Wales. I think. Yeah, but yeah, that's the guy that Leffen.
Paused,
he accidentally paused, and Leffen was like, "GG's."
yeah, I remember.
That was a really funny clip.
GG's.
I think we talked about that in our first Puffcast.
We did.
And then there's Sechi, who hasn't really been playing much net play, and there's Yapi from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But my bold prediction is Leffen's going to do really well at that tournament, and Amsa's going to underperform. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have watched, but a lot of the, like, Zayn and I forget who else. There's a few people who've been practicing with Bzim recently.
Oh, Yoshi.
Yeah.
For some reason,
they don't want to just, like, not know how to play against Amsa and then lose.
Yeah. I have the opposite thought process, honestly. I feel like Leffen's going to underperform, and Amsa might do better than we think. Just because, for the sheer fact that, like, Amsa, I feel like there's no real reason for him to underperform, because he just is already in Japan, and that's how he's been doing his whole Melee career in the first place. Nothing really changed there. I guess Melee tournaments, like, on LAN, but, like, I don't really think that's too big of a deal for him, because, you know, and he's going to come into Summit pretty much the same way, and just grind a lot, I guess.
I mean, he'll have some pretty quality practice in the next month at least, because I know he has that experimental Slippy build, right?
Yeah.
It's good. I've played it a couple times now.
I've never. What does it do? Does it just like inject more internet juice into Slippy? Like
So,
Internet.
how does it just miraculously like perform so much better? How does that
so
work?
from what I understand, and I could be completely wrong about this, but I believe it's better at predicting what's going to happen. So rollbacks are more accurate than the other, but that also could be wrong. But I've played Pipsqueak on it, and yeah, it reads every half frame instead of every frame. So
Half
it reads,
frame?
yeah.
That's crazy.
So are you
So
telling me that my matches on NetPlay are constantly rolling back, and the only rollbacks that I see are the ones that are wrong?
Yeah.
yeah. The only times when it rolls back, it just means it was
Mhm.
predicting wrong.
It
was
so
predicting.
fraudulent.
I was yeah. So and I was playing Pipsqueak on 2 frames, and it was like a little jittery.
Two?
But he's also in Sweden. Pipsqueak.
2 frames?
Yeah, 2 frames. We played on 2 frames, and it
What
was
was the
fine.
thing?
Little over 100.
Damn, it would have been
I had to
perfect on
guess like
3 then.
105 or something. Yeah, it was playable. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts about Summit. I wonder how HBox will do at that tournament actually, assuming he goes, but I think it's unlikely that he doesn't.
Cody
He's
HBox
just
fans.
he's the ultimate wild card at this point, I
Yeah.
think.
I think he just like I think he has a very low chance of beating Zane, Cody, Leffen, or Moki. I think he won't beat any of those guys. But
I feel like he could beat either of those boxes because I think like that's probably his easiest matchup to kind of regain the aura
Mhm.
and the H box fuego, so to speak. But Zane will just shield stop fair him 90 times and hit every pivot, and then it doesn't matter if he
Yeah.
has an epiphany mid match, he's still gonna lose.
I think he'll be top
Mhm.
4 minimum.
I think he'll make top 8, but I my prediction is he'll get like depends on who else is going, obviously. Like if the Vodens are like HBox plus 5 like top like low top 100 level players, then
Hmm?
HBox will do better. But I think HBox if assuming we have like a competitive field, I think HBox gets 7th.
I don't know,
Respect.
dude. I feel like it could go so many different directions. I feel like he could make it like all the way to top 3. I feel like he could literally get like 13th. I really do.
Yeah. Depends on his bracket too, because like
Yeah.
it really depends on who gets into. Because if it's really top heavy, like we have, you know, the people who have already made it in, and then we also have like Ginger, and we have Wizzy, and we have well, I guess Axe would be below him probably, but if we had like a bunch of really competitive players as the vote-ins, and HBox is near the bottom of the seating, I think he has a way worse chance, right?
Yeah.
Like if he has to play like Zane or Leffen out of pools or something, then
Yeah.
then that's gonna make it a lot harder for him. But
It is a great hypothetical to explain why placements mean nothing.
oh yeah, for
True,
sure.
true. I also
He
think
reasonably. Sorry, go ahead.
if like I make it in or like another puff makes it in, I think it does his chances just drop significantly. To be
Well, there's
honest.
also net play too. I guess it's
Oh,
kind of
shit.
harder because it's in SoCal, so like there's not that many good puffs around there. Like DD's kind of close to there, and they're all right. And WebWipe is in Canada on the West Coast, but like
Yeah.
this is another thing. Something I've noticed when I've like played in West Coast tournaments and stuff
Mhm.
is the West Coast sucks against Puff. Like they're not good
They're
against
not
Puff.
good
Whereas
against
the East
Puff.
Coast, you play against East Coast players and you're like, these guys know what I'm gonna do 5 years before I'm about to do it. But like, yeah, it's just I think it's because all of us are like on the East Coast or the like the east part of the Midwest.
Those
So
New Jersey people are like on some puff ayahuasca, and they see the future like 4 steps. I mean, I imagine you are basically to thank for that.
I've been whipping them,
yeah,
dude. I've
yeah.
been whipping them.
Dude, I've never this happened at one of Cody's tournaments. I think it was his it was either the FD band, I think it was the FD band tournament. Or it might have been the bands in best of 5 tournament. I got destroyed by Fable. Like I got destroyed. I've never been beaten that badly before.
He's the Sheik, right? If I'm
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah. You played him at that tournament too. This is like one of the many tournaments too where I'm like, oh yes, I finally get to play too, and then I lose like the round before.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you're like, yo, he's platform camping Sheik, and I was like, yo, thank you for the advice, because I was mad figuring it out mid set.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, the one set I played with Fable, I got kind of worked the first game so bad that I was like in a Discord. I was like, I don't know how to beat this. I've never fought this, and then I just won the next 3 games. It was really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. No, that's yeah. Sometimes that stuff happens, but but yeah, the East Coast is way better against Puff than the West Coast. It's actually crazy. Like I forget what tournament it was. It was like I barely lost to Null, and I like 3-0'd Curve, and I 2-0'd Casper, and it was like it was not hard, you know. But and even like the good players, like when I played SFAT's obviously really really good, but I felt like I played Zuppy literally right before I played SFAT, and I thought Zuppy was harder.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about SFAT, dude. Like, I play him a lot and I just lose, and I'm like, I don't even feel like I've really been beaten. You know what I mean? It's just his game plan is so simple, but like, I guess if I go back and rewatch it, his drift is like probably insane or some shit like that. But I don't know. He just feels so simple. Like,
I mean, he just doesn't really make bad decisions.
that's probably what it is. He just actually doesn't give anything for free. Which a lot of players
But
do.
it's not like he's like pretty good at the matchup. Like there's a reason that he's beaten HBox a handful of times, but he's not like as good as Moki or Cody.
Yeah, he's good at it, and he's also just a great player.
Yeah, yeah. And like Fiction, I know also struggled against Puff for a while. I haven't played him since
Yeah, I wouldn't really put him in the top Puff destroyers, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, but I think that like kind of wraps up what we want to say about Summit. That's like the big question marks are probably HBox, because people are talking about, oh, when HBox gets on LAN, he'll be a lot better, and then Amsa and Leffen. The only other tournament that we have announced for LAN so far, at least in terms of big tournaments, is Riptide, which is in September. It's like the second weekend of September or something.
Yeah.
And you're not going to, but Reese and I are both going.
Yep.
So
I'm very
blast.
I'm sad. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm sad you're not going though. We were planning on hanging out at the first major back. And now,
dude, they announced it randomly. Like,
yeah, yeah, for real.
Did you not get in on the second wave?
There was a second wave?
Yeah, that's when I got in. I missed the first time too, and then they opened it up, and it stayed open for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, dude. It was. So I actually last week, I was doing this like whitewater rescue course, and I was on my way up, and like I barely had service, and my girlfriend texts me. She's like, "Riptide Reg is open." Like,
what she knew?
Well, she's a melee player.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Can you sign me up? Like, I can't figure this shit out right now." And oh man, it was really funny.
Lucky.
And we're sorted now, but I was like terrified. I was like, I'm gonna miss my chance.
Yeah.
There's lots of good players going though. Like Zane's a maybe. I think he's registered. Cody's going. HBox is going. Axe is going. SFAT's going. I don't know who else good is going, but it's like every mid-level player is going.
Did you say Axe already?
Yeah, Axe is going. But yeah, basically every like person who became good in quarantine is going. Like not everyone, but like a considerable amount of them. Like my whole crew is going. You're going. Reese. I don't know who else is going from like from the Puff Discord, but is Dawson going? I don't know.
I think Dawson signed up.
Okay.
I don't know if
one.
Yeah, dude, you're getting left, but you should just come through, dude.
I have FOMO right now. I could actually just come and not compete. That is a true statement.
Yeah, I'm planning on just like there's a swim up bar, like that's dangerous. Like, it's so much fun.
I broke my phone in one of those.
Oh really?
Yeah.
In one of the pools. Oh yeah.
I thought it was waterproof.
This is my first tournament because I went to 2 Smash and Splashes, but this is my first Smash and Splash-esque tournament where I'm over 21.
Oh yeah!
My God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're all the same age, right? Like
I'm
two,
old.
you're 23.
Yeah.
I'm 22
And-
now.
Are you turning 23 this year?
Oh,
Golden?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are,
No,
Okay,
I turned 22 in April.
okay, so you're a year younger than Toussaint and I.
You're Aries just like me, dude.
Yep,
Hell
yep.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
But no, it's gonna be great. I feel for all the people who turned 21 in the pandemic, and now they'll finally have a chance to go out and enjoy the festivities. But it's gonna be super super fun. Something else that I didn't. This is like a fun fact that apparently COVID is like near impossible to spread in the pool.
Wow.
The chlorine just kills it. Like
That
I
makes
had
sense.
I had to restart my lifeguarding stuff like a couple months ago, and they're like, yeah, basically the chlorine just kills the COVID. Like
Why haven't
Yeah.
we just like kept having tournaments, but like you have to be in a pool while you're playing?
yeah. Yeah,
You're
you
onto
just keep
something.
like your controller outside of the water.
That's how we get rid of the box players because they can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm down for
man.
that. I like that idea, actually.
Yeah. Finally, they won't be able to DI my up throw behind and get out for free.
You need to research that. I feel like you might be capping on that one,
Dude,
but
it's like it's so hard.
Dude, you just
Like
hit the button.
it definitely doesn't work as consistently. It might be true, but the timing might be really really tight.
I
You ever-
wonder.
Sorry. You guys
no.
ever air dodge and you do the wiggle thing against Fox, right? And you are trying to like juke him out so he doesn't get the grab when you're like air dodging the air or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down, right? I was playing
Yeah.
Zuppy today and I realized that will never work on a box player. Like, cause they could just press the button, right? And there's no like in between
Mm-hmm.
like with the stick movement. So
I mean,
can't
yeah, that's why
recognize
that's why
that.
their dash dance is just pristine.
yeah.
Like because instead of going left, right, button. Yeah. I mean, that's it. We know,
Mm-hmm.
but I love our fellow boxmen and women and people. I'm glad that new controllers are on the horizon. I think that the frame one has some things that need to be modified.
Mm-hmm.
IMO, but it's not too bad. I wonder
Yeah.
if the 1.0 DI will help us. Like, could we DI Fox's up throw even further and make it harder?
So when I've been thinking, the one thing I think it would be really helpful for is when you're doing reaction tech chase rest, because like the hardest thing is to switch your drift up to cover like tech. You know when they DI
Yeah.
behind onto the platform, and you kind of have to either cover tech in place, miss tech, and roll away, or roll in. Like you kind of can't do
Like a
both
three out of
with the
four.
stick. It's probably going to be a lot easier to do it with the with being able to switch between 1.0s really really easily. You
Press
know?
the button.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Because
that's-
I always get stuck because you kind of have to like reset to neutral
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you
yeah.
change direction, and this is
You have to
annoying.
stop on a dime, so to speak.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, that's Riptide. Riptide's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
Good shot for me,
Are we-
guys. Please.
Are we gonna chill?
Oh, we are going to chill. We haven't
Hell yeah.
because I was gonna be at Big House 9, but I couldn't go because of my back injury. This will
Oh,
be my
yeah,
first.
maybe
Yeah, I
I'll-
missed 3 majors because of my back injury or something. It was
That's pain.
yeah, but yeah. So what's the next thing we want to talk about? You said
Leave it up to y'all. We have a list. We can
There's still a
just-
lot on the list, honestly. We haven't barely
yeah.
scratched the surface.
Oh yeah. How do we feel about the pound stalling thing? You mentioned that, Reese. I want to know what you mean about that.
Yeah. Let me just send the clip into stream. Basically, in a Netherlands tournament, there was a timeout situation, and a puff went under the stage and pounded for about 12 seconds.
I'm gonna play the clip.
Go for it. Tell me when it's done. If sound is like going.
He really
So, on right now?
He really
Yeah,
needs
I mean, I'm probably a little delayed, but yeah.
he needs to get to the top platform and
I
find
guess,
a spot.
yeah, because I remember Michael did do this to KZ, or maybe to Wad.
I think this is fair game.
KZ.
I don't know. It's definitely
He's
kind of
dying for it though. Like he could have literally.
No, you can air dodge. Like he didn't even air dodge. Like he could have air dodged once the
Yeah.
clock hit like 2, or not 2. That could have thrown, but like 1.
There now.
I
He
Yeah,
really
but-
needs it.
I think it's
I think it's fair.
I think it's gray area.
I don't know. It definitely feels like the type of like the rule set basically says you can't stall for time in a place where someone can't hit you, right? But I guess it's
That's
like
the
hard
rule.
to it's yeah, that's a rule in the rule set. It's why like Peach can't go underneath like Fountain and Peach Bomber
But Peach could have
over
done
and
the
over
same
again.
thing, and Mario could have done nothing.
Yeah, I know, and that's also that we all I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's suspect.
It's I feel like the biggest problem for me, I don't think what is in that clip is an issue. I really don't. I don't think that the Dr. Mario player should feel like they were cheated out of a win because that's 10 seconds of an 8-minute match.
Right.
Now, but what I do think the rule set needs to be bit codified a little bit better to handle these situations because people are going to start doing it for longer. People are going to start doing it for even longer. And then at what point, like, does it like what's the line drawn? That's basically like the central point that everyone makes when this discussion comes up, and I think it's valid. And I don't even have a solution, but if I were a TO, I feel like it would just it would be discretionary. Like I feel like you could maybe you could maybe like just throw 30 seconds in
Yeah, I was gonna say
as
30
an
seconds.
yeah, like that seems reasonable. You could say 30 seconds, but make it so that it's TO discretion so that people aren't like it's kind of like the wobbling thing, right? Where it's like 4 tilts. It's like that's so hard to enforce, and it's also kind of lame because
Mhm.
then the ice climbers player has to like do their stuff in fear that they're gonna go over this limit on accident potentially, and then that's grounds for a DQ. Whereas if the rule is no wobbling, and the ices does something that is very clearly wobbling in some way, then they forfeit the game, or they forfeit the stock, or they forfeit the set. I don't know. But I think 30 seconds is like a reasonable benchmark. But if you are like if the puff had done that for like 25 seconds, like that's only 15 more seconds, but I think that that would be
I'd
I
say
think
stalling.
yeah, I feel like you would be much harder inclined to defend that if it were 25 seconds. So even though that doesn't reach the arbitrary theoretical value of 30 seconds, that's where the TO discretion comes in.
I think so. Something I just thought of is I don't know how this would be meaningfully different from camping top platform against Dr. Mario and Dreamland. Like
Fair.
theoretically
Yeah.
it's slightly better, but is it really meaningfully different? Like you're putting yourself in a spot. I guess like the difference is if you're underneath the stage, like Doc has to die to hit you. And he can't really
Also,
do
like you do have to land. Like if you're like let's say you're just like kind of jumping circle camping around the top platform, doing an edge cancel now and then to reset your jumps, pounding once or so.
That's worse.
Like that's like incredibly hard to beat, but it is I would say in a close situation it is still beatable. In a close situation, unless you are Peach Puff herself, I don't think like there's counterplay to what that Puff was doing. If you're not one of those characters, maybe Mewtwo, I don't know. But most characters, I feel like, can do literally nothing in that situation. Whereas if Puff is like top platform camping, I feel like you have something, even if the likelihood of it working is not very good.
But
So
what if
that's
it's like, what if he was playing against Ness? You know?
Yeah, I actually don't know how you would get to like how Ness would deal with that, or like
You would just up B, and then
PK Thunder. I don't know.
you just
Yeah,
PK Thunder, and then you get hit, and then you can't tech the ceiling, and then you die.
well, you can tech the ceiling.
yeah, you
Can
can
you?
tech. Yeah,
I think he wouldn't have teched it, dude. I don't think he would
I
have
don't
teched
think
it.
you would have.
I think he
You
would have.
can't.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
It's hard to say. Like the thing about
How about this? How about this?
making a rule set. Sorry, go ahead.
If a Dragon Ball Z moment happens, right? You guys both get sent to the other side of the blast zone, and it's like a fox and let's say some random character that doesn't have like a shine stall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Both to the
Okay.
other side of the blast zones now, and the fox is about to win due to timeout, and he's just like doing the shine stall, and like the other character can't get there in time. Is that wrong to say that the Fox was stalling too? If it was just like 10 seconds.
Or another thing I thought of is like, let's say you're playing Puff Peach, right, and you get up aired on Dreamland at like 100,
Mhm.
so you get like knocked really really high, but like you don't die.
Yeah,
Like, are you allowed to just pound up there and
I feel like you
just
should be.
slowly descend? I don't know.
I feel like you should be to like a degree. At a certain point, it becomes clearly you're stalling for time, but like you could, in good faith, say that you are using it as a recovery,
Mhm.
like for a bit, like for 15 seconds max. I think.
Yeah.
How about
And I
this? I'll finish it because it's quick. How about this?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about we just put a limit on the pound?
That would be actually that like I would be fine with, because Puff is kind of the only character who can do that.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you pound before
You touch something,
touching something, either your opponent
the ledge
or
or
the
ground.
ledge or the ground? I think
suppose-
that would actually be a good way to regulate it. I
Yeah.
don't know how you would figure the amount of times would be, because yeah, that would work, because I was thinking maybe at some there would be a situation, for instance, where you just like keep getting hit off stage and you have to keep pounding back. But I guess that would qualify under the fact if you like your opponent hits you, then you're fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that would prevent you. I think you would just like, how many pounds can you stall under Dreamland for? Like before you just die, and
Probably
then
like
like
8.
yeah.
I think
You
like
could-
the number should be like maybe 13, and I'd be like, oh, that's stalling. That's stalling, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I
We
think
solved the problem.
I think 15 to 20 is more reasonable personally,
We did.
but we're
I
very
haven't
much
tested
putting,
it.
I genuinely believe that's probably one of the best ways to attack this problem though. Like good job. Good job.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Did it, guys? We did it.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Yeah, it's so I can't even imagine being like some like I don't know, like a Peach main or like
I
like a
can't imagine
Samus.
doing
What
that.
does Samus do? Like
Bomb over there?
she can't. You just hit the bomb and then she dies.
Well, you're putting yourself at risk. The Puffs putting themselves
Yeah.
at risk.
You could shoot a homing missile, bomb jump, double jump, air dodge, grapple, grab the side.
Yeah, I guess you could
And that
do that.
missile is risk-free damage.
True.
Yeah. And I guess in the situation, you made a good point earlier too. If like this is assuming that we have to like we're talking about this like we assume we have to fix this because this is obviously wrong. But I guess you did make a good point earlier where if it's going to timeout, it's like there was another 7.5 minutes where that Dr. Mario main could have been winning the game.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I think it's just super, and I think in both this situation and the Michael versus Keizu situation, if you think that this should have like given him a DQ, I think you're kind of ridiculous personally.
Where did that happen,
Like-
Michael versus KZ?
It was full
Happened earlier
bloom.
this year.
Oh,
It was no, it was.
Oh,
it
I'm
was-
thinking of a different one because Michael did it against Laud earlier this year or last year. Then
Of course. Michael moment.
we almost timed out, me and Michael. Almost.
dude,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
you basically timed out. You
No,
basically timed out.
no. Let it be known, I
The
never
only-
timed him out.
The only players in recent memory that I have timed out against are Dawson and Morse Code.
I've only
Morse
timed
code
out.
is the type, dude.
I've timed
oh,
out.
okay.
I've been timed out twice. Once against a local puff, like in 2017, and once against Ferocity the Peach on Dreamland.
Oh goodness.
And it was like I wasn't even playing for the timeout. I just noticed there was 40 seconds left, and I was like, I'm not going to approach for those 40 seconds. I'm
Polish
over it.
was going to time me out game 5 of a set that we played, and then he pulled a stitch and just killed me. So
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm too much of an idiot and run my head into a wall, so I never get to go to timeouts. I've gotten kind of close against the swooper though.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
god. I had a 7+ minute match on Yoshi's versus the Swooper.
Jesus.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
I'm
But
glad
yeah,
we solved that problem though.
Yeah, pound limit. Let's run it up the ladder.
Yeah. We'll
15 to 20.
someone tweet that. Someone tweet that for clout. And we can all retweet it.
I'm done.
So Puff Slave Stigma, how to get good practice without sucking top players' dicks.
Okay, so I proposed this one because I have, over the past couple of years of going to majors, and other Jigglypuffs have basically just try to get the most top level practice they can get by seeing who needs to warm up for Hungry Bucks and being like, yeah, I'll play you. And this gets to the point where top players have their own puffs, and basically they honestly refer to them in pretty. I'm not trying to like make this a big thing because it's just kind of like
We can, because I've honestly had a moment where I was really mad getting called that.
Yeah, okay, then I'll just out with it. Okay, so Mango was looking for a puff to play, and he started playing Principoo on that play. It was a decent connection. He's like, "Oh, I found my puff slut."
I like that. I like Puff Slut. That.
Yeah, it's fun. It's weird. It's like I'm not gonna say that he's like making some. He's like doing something that's like bannable or anything, but like that's
kind of weird.
It's weird, and also it recently talked about in the illustrious Hacks Money video, Leffen would call Snowy his bitch.
Oh my god.
Like,
So I want to comment on that. I was there that day, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was there that day, and Leffen called me a puff slave, and I got really mad because, like, I don't want to be that guy in the room, but listen, I'm black. You do not call me like slave anything, because all I heard personally was just slave, and I got really mad. I was like, yo, don't fucking call me that. Honestly, don't call me that. Like, I don't. And I never got called that again, but he still called Snowy that. But I just think that's very disrespectful. No matter who you're calling like a slave in general, puff slave at that, puff slut I could vibe with, because that's pretty funny. But
at least it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, puff slut.
But yeah, like I genuinely think that it's something that, like, I want to get as much top level practice as I can, but I don't want to do it by being a top player's lackey, and I don't want to do it by like sucking up to them. Like, so I don't know what's the best way to approach this kind of thing to find the balance, y'all think?
Well, you're the kind of the premier puff guy. I was trying to think of the right word. It's two saints. So why don't you give your perspective on this? Because I think you probably have the best one.
Okay, here's my perspective. I tend to not see it as sucking up. I tend to find it as like I'm getting to know the people. Well, at least when I was starting out, that's how I felt. I felt like I was getting to know the top players, etc., etc., and it just was a nice time. I didn't really feel like I was sucking up or anything like that. It just felt like I'm getting really good practice, and they enjoy the gameplay, and they're getting better, and then they win the tournament. And
Oh, sorry, you finished what you're saying.
I feel like if you do you think that you're sucking up to them by wanting to play them, or do you think that you have to?
I think this is sorry,
more the latter.
Yeah, what I was saying. Sorry to interrupt everyone. But what I was trying to say is it feels like that maybe this is just me, but it feels like you're kind of in a position where you like your ability to get that good practice in that situation. It's different now that there's like a decent amount of puffs where you kind of I feel like you have to be like I think Fence Turtle was talking about this where like Leffen would say that all puff mains are bad and like would kind of pressure like Snowy into agreeing with him, and you're kind of in this position now where you have to like your ability to get like a certain amount of practices to like repeat talking points. And I'm not sure if that's universally true, but I can see that being a problem. I don't really have that issue because like the only Fox I like really play with that's really good is my friend, so it's like not that big of a deal. But I could see that being a problem if you're like not super well connected, like Snowy was at the time. You know? In
my opinion, I think you should just shut that shit down immediately if you think that you're being belittled in any way possible. Like, even if this is like a top player, low level player situation, this kind of happens like in other places too, right? Not just in video games. And like if you feel like you deserve respect, you should just be like, yo, like fuck off, dude.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. That's what you should do, but I think it's like it's hard when like there's that difference in like social capital in a situation like that, and like I don't know. I feel that it's hard.
Because
to
I don't know,
navigate
like,
that.
because when I was a nobody, like, and I was just like begging, not begging, but like sneaking my way into the VIP room, like, hey guys, who wants to play? Fucking,
Yeah.
I would get that stuff like a lot at first, and I would just shut that shit down immediately because I know where it leads. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I feel like that would happen to kind of almost anyone. Like Mango is kind of a good example for who would like belittle you, but like as a joke. But then the crowd, like as in the friend groups, are gonna like also joke on you too because they think it's okay, right?
Mm.
And I think not like I'm not shitting on Mango or anything, but that's just like how social interactions work. So like they make fun of you, the crowd comes in. If you shut it down immediately, like yo Mango, suck my dick, like it'll like work out and they'll probably not do it as much. I think it's just banter at the end of the day. If they think that you suck or like everyone that plays your character sucks, and you could kind of just say the same thing to them, you know?
Yeah,
Probably.
I just think that like I feel like I would be comfortable in that position where if someone was being rude to me, I would just tell them to fuck off. But I also don't expect everyone to do that, you know?
Yeah, I don't
Like-
either.
I mean, yeah, I
But-
feel like we kind of branched off into like shit talking Puff, shit talking you as a player. Like that's wildly different in my head.
That's
from
true. That is big.
people being like you're my Puff slave. Like those
That's
are.
too far.
Hmm?
That's too far.
No, that's like
Yeah.
5 steps
Still
beyond too
fine.
far, in my opinion. But yeah, but I kind of asked that question because I feel like I am in a position where I can be very valuable practice to a lot of top players, but I don't have the connections really. Like the only top players that I play on a semi-regular basis is Pax, Wizzy, and Cobalt.
Hmm.
Like they hit me up when they need Puff practice, but other than that, I don't really know how to get any top level practice without putting myself out there. But like, how do I do that? What do you think? What do you think is the best strategy to kind of expand your network and like prove that you're worthwhile as not just like random they find any Puff they can, but like somewhat consistent practice partners, you know?
I think on the first interaction that you have with the players that you want to play with, I think you should just try and become friends, and that's like the glory of like CRT Melee and shit. That it's an in-person
Yes.
game. It is always about the social interaction. So, if you want to like get that top level practice, I really can just see you like sitting down with Zane at a major, right, and just chatting it up, and like you guys just like each other, like as homies, genuinely, and then he'll like literally look for you, be like, yo, I need golden. I need to play golden right now, dude. Like that will happen. That will actually just happen. But it's really up to you two to like each other. Not just him liking you, but like you have to like him too. Like if I feel like if he's
Don't
just
be a weirdo.
Yeah.
That's like rule number 1. Don't be a weirdo.
Be a weirdo. Just like chill and
But,
talk.
yeah. If you like know how to socialize and you smell good, then you're kind of
You're already
You're golden.
you're above the
Literally
average.
golden.
yeah. But no, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think the biggest thing that, at least for when I've networked, is like it's harder online, but being in Twitch chats is honestly probably helpful. Like I've warmed up Cody a couple times because when Toussaint's been off with his girlfriend or something. It's like, and it's just because I lurk sometimes, especially during the summer when I wasn't in school. I was in Twitch chat so much. Jesus.
I have a good idea. Like, so if it's not like, something outside of the game, like you guys can talk about like what's literally going on, and you could probably ask for advice or give him advice rather. Top players love it when you give them advice because they rarely get it, dude. Unless it's like from other top players, like, hey man, let's try this out. I think if you did this here, that would be super optimal. I would do that a lot with like Leffen. I'd be like, yo, Leffen, if you do an up air right here, it would just fuck a hungry box up. Because like I've seen so many sets, he's floating up over there, and he's just uncontested. And then he won SmashCon with that up air that I taught him. So
Wow.
That's the type of stuff that gets you like the
Brownie
respect.
point.
Yeah.
So, what else do we have here? Because I think that kind of touches on that subject enough.
Yeah. I agree.
I guess we have. Let's do the Octagon next because that's kind of a short topic. So there were 4, but like 5 matches, including the Scar and Toph one.
Mhm.
I went into that. I was like, literally, no one I wanted to win won their set. I wanted Ginger to beat HBox. I wanted Cody to beat S2J. I wanted Mango to beat Zayn. And what was the other one? Oh, I wanted Curtis to beat None. And then they all lost. I was so upset.
I gotta say, the production value on that tournament was like A++, but that Marth skin like will haunt my nightmares.
Why do you have
Wait,
shorts?
which? Oh yeah. The Falcon.
Marth
The
wear-
Falcon. Yeah.
The Falcon
Marth
was
needs to
cool.
wear pants.
I
Like,
really liked the Puff one. I might add that to my make neutral Puff with that. I liked it. I liked the boxing headgear. I thought that was cool.
It was awesome.
I liked it too.
Probably the best skin,
Um,
honestly.
It was a cool event.
Yeah. The trading cards were cool. The little 30s style cartoon avatars were also really, really cool. The commentary from PP was good as always.
My good friend hates PP's commentary.
Really?
Just gotta throw it out there. I know he might be watching this right now, and he's just like, "Yeah, I do. I fucking hate that commentary, dude." He talks just like PP, so. But I want to say I think that FD should be banned. That FD skin. I think the letters actually make it kind of easier to perform certain things, like a Fox illusion edge cancel. Like if you go on the R or something like that. Like, oh yeah, if I do the side B on the R, I'm gonna always edge cancel. I don't know. That's just something I think about sometimes.
Yeah, that's another thing. I've always thought about that. I guess hypothetically, you could create skins for your stages that were good for something like that. That made it a lot easier to like execute on weird little things like that. But
On the ground, be like full hop here.
Full off here.
Mhm.
You mark up B here.
yeah.
You'll edge cancel it.
I'm gonna do that. Oh my god, that's such a funny
Yeah.
idea.
I actually don't. I think most of those matches probably, a lot of them were toss-ups, but they kind of went. I think I thought Cody was going to beat S2J,
I did
but
too.
it also was 5-4. So like, you know.
When I was watching it and I saw like Cody laughing and shit, I was like, oh, he's gonna lose, dude. Cody never. Cody always loses the shit where he's like having fun.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Then he
I'm
paused.
having fun.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having fun, I'm losing most of the time.
I'm not dialed. If I'm laughing, it's like that's it. I'm also like the side note. I'm the worst talker and player at the same time. So if I'm like talking to someone, I'm losing every game.
I'm like, it just makes the variance. Like I can like look like an O2 Puff if I'm talking to somebody, but randomly I can always also just play like A level gameplay while I'm like barely looking at the screen. I'm like, what is happening?
My Fox is actually nasty if I'm like not focused. It's super weird.
Smoke a little weed,
man.
get a little high, play a little Fox.
Yeah.
That's
But no, it was a good event. Production value is great. Golden Guardians continues to be great, making awesome content, sponsoring
For
some
real.
good players.
They're going all out
1K.
with the melee
yeah.
community. It's
All
awesome
out.
to see.
Yeah, their grassroots fund was the thing that really wowed me, I think, more than ever, because that's a thing that it's the only I guess they get good PR from it, but otherwise it's like literally just a money sink, you know? Like if they have like
They're-
they gave like if they give Rollback Rumble like however much money, they're just giving away that money. and
Honestly,
it's great, but
We're just a charity to them, low key, dude. If you think about it,
Mhm.
dude, because like they're billionaires.
yeah, I guess they are the Golden State Warriors, which is like
God.
one of the biggest franchises in the NBA. So
It's just wealth distribution at that point.
Like behind like the Knicks and I probably like the Heat. I'm pretty sure they're like just straight up the most valuable team. Probably like the Brooklyn Nets also. Like just New York is just too. Oh, and the Lakers, obviously.
yeah,
suck,
I was
apparently.
gonna say the Lakers.
How
That's-
could I
it's like,
forget about
yeah.
the
New York,
Lakers?
New York sucks so much, and I don't understand how they're the most expensive, dude. We just lose.
Hey, dude, that's like the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's like by far the most valuable team in the NHL in terms of like franchising, but continues to ruin Toronto man's hearts every year. So, but no, I'm happy that they're involved with the scene. This is something that we didn't put on here, but I want to
Okay.
talk about. How do we feel? Did you guys watch the games Cody played with PP?
Like on that like an unrated.
Yeah, they ran into each other on unranked. Yeah.
I saw like the first one, and then I started making breakfast. I saw the one where Cody lost.
Mm-hmm. Cody lost the first one, and like obviously PP isn't gonna like isn't he lost I think most of them, but it's interesting that I think we're like I hate to say it because I've been saying it since 2017, but I think we're like actually kind of around like we're nearing the corner on PP coming back. I think because it looks like if he's keeping up with Cody, who's like probably the best Fox against Marth right now, almost
That's
certainly
true.
the best Fox
Yeah.
against Marth with Leffen switching to Sheik
I think Mogi's up
for
there,
that
too.
matchup. He's easily the best, I think, probably.
I think PP's just enjoying just vibing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I were, maybe he'll get the itch, and if he gets the itch, then he surely has the hours that he's been putting in recently to do pretty well. I feel like people who are trying to actually approximate his skill are just kind of wasting time. Like, it's just so hard to tell, I think. But yeah, it would be pretty cool. I would like to see some PPMD. I've never seen PPMD play in a singles tournament in my life live.
Oh, I guess that's true because like his last singles tournament was
like
Summit, or was it Five Gods? I forget which
It
one.
might have been Summit. I feel like Five Gods happened and then it was Summit.
Yeah, I feel like he won Apex, and then there was Battle of the Five Gods, and then there was Summit.
He did
And
enter
there
that
was
teams
also
tournament.
Evo. He was in Evo, and then also Bad Moon Rising too.
Yeah, but that's doubles.
Yeah.
Like I saw
doubles
that.
is doubles.
I saw that, and I'm like, oh, Crunch and Xbox lost. Shocker.
That's his
Woohoo.
real last tournament, actually. Moon Rising.
That was so crazy. I remember in that tournament set, there was like a moment where it was 1-on-1, PP versus HBox, and then HBox couldn't recover, and PP just held ledge. That was it. We got like cock blocked on a last stock PP HBox game. But yeah, no, I noticed there's like the main thing I noticed in PP's play, and this was like the thing everyone thought was going to be the case, is his defensive game is really weak compared to the top players. Like his SDI is not good. He doesn't really shield drop. His recoveries are really bad. Stuff that he wouldn't like. He's really good. His neutral is still really, really good. Probably still has like one of the best, if not the best, dash dance. But
yeah, I feel like if you're not actively getting comboed by the best players in the world for years and years, and you're like taking a break from that, like if your defense is just gonna suffer massively.
I won't lie. Watching his old sets, I feel like that might have always been a problem with him.
His
like
defense.
His defense. He was always just really hard to touch, from what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But
I guess that's the thing too.
Yeah.
You know,
comparatively to the other top players, at least.
Well, so if you win neutral every time, you never get put in disadvantage.
Exactly.
So you never have to learn how to DI. But I think if he wants to come back and play, Cody apparently wants him to start playing top players now.
I don't know why he doesn't. I mean, I know why he doesn't, but like, just do it off stream.
Yeah, no, I'd be fine because I think the big thing is it's like an expectations thing. But I would totally be interested in seeing him play people, or not even see, but like just hear that he's playing like with Mango or Cody or whatever.
I have a secret, bro.
What's your secret?
I've been playing with PP.
Wait, really?
No.
Bruh. Yeah, I thought so. I knew you were fucking with us. No way you would drop that right here. No way.
He's coming back.
But yeah.
Honestly, I feel like he's gonna get bored of like just not competing at a certain point, because like
I think it's the only way he gets back to that point.
Right? Yeah.
But maybe. I think it's toss up. He might never come back.
Do we want to let's talk about Aklo and the young Link and Link. Those characters are not actually that bad. Like they're not good. But like, I don't know, beating like, because he beat you with Link, right, too? And he beat like J-Flex, and who else did he beat?
He beat Swooper.
Yeah, he beat Swooper. Yeah. He beat Bees. No, he didn't beat B-Bats. He beat Beezin. I know it's confusing because they're both in the same crew and their names both start with B. But
Who else?
I've never had the displeasure of playing against Aklo's Link. Doesn't look very fun.
it's not very.
It's hard.
I mean, I'm sure it's hard. He looks like he's probably. I don't think that it's debatable that he's the best with the character right now, right? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like the Link mains obviously want to not be represented by someone secondary, but I think that's just the reality.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say too because like I don't know, like the two other good links don't really play. You know, like Six only plays teams, and
Safe state plays though.
Safe Day just
Safe
won
State, yeah.
at Netherlands Weekly.
yeah, they also they beat Solo Battles Marth,
It's a good
which is
matchup, I hear.
okay, but they and then there's Honey Bear as well, who's from your region, right?
Yep, Honey Bear's from Tennessee. Honey Bear is like kind of he kind of like fades in and out. He's a grown man. He's got stuff to do. He doesn't have time to be playing this game that often, but
Mm.
he's very skilled for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I think it's the life of a mid-tier main, honestly. They just kind of don't take the game as seriously as like the other top
Mhm.
players.
I think it's
Can you just imagine a Ganondorf that just like puts their absolute heart and soul into being the best player in the world for like 4 years? What would appear out of that?
I don't know, because I don't even think it's Kage, dude. And I was like,
Kage next level. It's like Kage's evolved form.
Kage level 2.
But no, I think it's pretty clear to me now. Now that people have been messing with weird characters like Zane and Aklo on unranked, and also Axe to a degree, or not on unranked during the pandemic. I think it's pretty clear that the tier list is actually a little closer than I think we originally thought. Obviously, like there's some matchups that are just gonna be hard, but if Aklo can beat like a bunch of good players with Link and Young Link, like you can get top 100 with all these characters, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like you can reasonably compete at a close to high level, if not high level, and by that I am thinking top 150 to top 50. I think you can reasonably get to that point all the way down to like DK at this point, if you're good enough.
I think you could probably go even further. Like you can get there with Roy probably. If you're Zane, you can get there with Roy.
I mean, I don't know if you can be entering tournaments all that, because Zane can beat all these amazing players, but if he runs into a Peach that knows how to play against Roy, it's like insta lose, like straight up.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
No,
though.
yeah.
The tier list
Is it-
is not synonymous with matchups that you're gonna like just see in a tournament, right? Like you can just not have an all Fox bracket. You could just have like all floaties, like how Aklo kind of did with
Mhm.
with Big Link. But then he got like spaces and stuff with his Young Link. You know, would he had fared the same? Who knows? Same with like Axe, right? Like everyone talks about how like Axe has a hard time winning tournaments because if he runs into H-Box, it's like GG's, it's game over. But then like he didn't, and then he wins Summit. So
And I think Mewtwo, like Leffen's shown that Mewtwo is actually not awful.
don't think
Like he
Mewtwo's
beat
awful.
Prof with his Mewtwo. I think
Good.
Game and Watch is a good character. Well, not a good character, but like
I think he's good.
that character can get results.
I think Game & Watch is good, but I think he just gets pooped on by Spacey so hard that it's like rough to main that character.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
You get, I mean, I feel like Falco Game & Watch should just be like one of the worst matchups you could even think of.
I'll cook Game of Watch, dude.
Like he
He's got-
Fuck it, dude. If you absorb 3 lasers, that's just like an instant kill, though.
it's true.
is
Until you get it shined back at you.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah, but I think the bucket's actually like really fast. Like I don't know what its exact frame data is, but
Don't put these thoughts in my head.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I just think you have to be a certain type of player to literally just main a mid tier or low tier and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be number 1.
yeah, you kind of definitely you have to be built different to play
Yeah.
those characters for sure.
I mean, there's a reason why Curve was probably the best Luigi, and now he barely plays the character anymore because he's not that kind of person, I guess. And
Yeah.
He just wants to be the best, and he believes that Luigi is holding him back from that.
Well,
And
I
Was
think
Curve the
Plup's
best Luigi?
Plup's Luigi is the best Luigi, or I guess a bait if you go off results.
when's the last time a Plup even used Luigi, though?
He only used them once.
No, we used him another time. I forget what tournament it was though.
Like, I'm not gonna call someone the best Luigi based on the fact that they did really well at one tournament 3 years ago. I feel like that's not fair.
Mm,
They played them at the
not.
Minneapolis tournament, I think. Yeah, and
Minneapolis?
lost to Magi.
The Minneapolis
Wait,
tournament.
Eddie was
The
better than Curve.
Minneapolis charity tournament.
Curve was better than
Oh.
Eddie.
Oh, that was net play. Yeah. I was like, I lived in Minneapolis for 4 years. I don't think that Plup really came to the cities. We did have a tournament where Cody came to, though.
Oh yeah, I
Shit.
remember like hearing about that.
Yeah, he shit on all of us, unsurprisingly, but it was fun.
Sometimes people just come and take all your money. It's crazy.
I have a
Yeah.
question. Was Curve better than Eddie?
I don't know if Curve is better than Eddie. It's hard to say.
They're like such different styles. Like they're like
They are.
polar opposite styles, so it's hard to compare. I feel like Eddie could probably get some upsets Curve could never even dream of, and vice versa. Like I think that's like a dead heat, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You're at that point like, who's the best Luigi? I hate to say it, Luigi means, but I don't really care that much.
True, true.
Luigi.
Now my answer is Young Main is the best Luigi. That guy's fucked up. That guy actually kicked my ass for so long.
That guy is really good.
Yeah, he is.
All right, my answer is Luigi Gauchard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I never played him.
Really, have you ever played it? Dude, you gotta play him in a net play tournament and then farm those Twitter likes.
He loses every time. I'm not gonna even tweet it out.
It's a lose-lose situation. If you lose, then he tweets and shits on you. If you win and you tweet shitting on him, then it's like they're trying to bring me down. They can't handle all this big dick Kentucky energy.
Big dick. I might have
Oh,
already
man.
blocked or muted him already. I have a lot of people blocked and muted.
Probably.
Because I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't want to see this shit.
It's true. The thing is, you just like when you realize that you don't owe anyone the like not blocking them, your life gets so much better. I started blocking people who bothered me, and my life got so much better.
It's a good thing to do.
So we're on basically the characters are characters we thought were bad are probably slightly less bad than we originally thought.
Again, beat Ginger, right? Like not too long ago.
Yeah, no,
Oh, no fluxes beat him. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man. Characters
Dude,
are
that guy will stand in center stage
good.
or on the side platform and bear, like auto cancel bear or bear double jump bear, and you're like, ah.
I think he's like that type of mid tier that like is willing to. He's like a hybrid of the two types of mid tiers. He's like the mid tier that wants to win so bad that they switch, but he doesn't switch. He's
Yeah.
just like trying to squeeze every ounce of viability that Ganon has out of him.
Yeah.
Like
Have
Dr.
you
Samus.
seen? Have you seen? He's apparently trying to pick up Puff for Sheik, which is a mistake. But you
It's
know,
over. His Ganon career is over, dude. That's where
Dude,
it
it's
begins.
I don't know.
If you're gonna pick up a character for Sheik, I feel like Puff could work. I feel like Ice Climbers are the best pick.
I would just
Actually,
play
though.
Fox, to be honest. I find that I almost half the time I would, if I could keep up my Fox tech skill consistently, I would consider playing that character in that matchup. That matchup is just so much easier than Puff Sheik,
I agree.
I think.
I played Falco.
It's just I feel like when you play, this is like a tangent, but when you play Puff Sheik, it feels like you have to. It's like it's an exercise in rule following from both ends, right? Like Puff has certain rules that she can't break, or else she'll just get like fared or back aired 20 times.
Yeah.
And she kind of has to do the same. Like she can't grab in dumb spots or whatever. But Fox can kind of just do what he wants if he like executes well. And you know, sure, sometimes you get execution tested and sometimes you get wobbled, but like, you know. But anyway, that's a tangent.
Oh.
Sorry, what's up?
Not much. I'm just kind of looking at our topic list. We got couple things more, but it's how y'all want to proceed. If y'all want to wrap it up, that's fine too. If y'all want to talk about more stuff, that's fine as well.
How long
Oh
we
no,
been?
we got some time. We have basically like kind of we can briefly talk about the tournaments, but I kind of the meaty topics are the hack stuff and the Pudgy Panda tweet, I think.
All right.
Because
All right, let's go through
let's pull up the Pudgy Panda tweet. If you could pull that up on your stream, I'll send it to you,
Yeah.
Saint, just so you can. Because this was a hot takes galore.
I'll read it
This
out.
was-
I'll read it out
This is
loud.
a gamer tweet.
It is, dude. I saw this and I was like, I don't know. There you are.
All right, I'm about to read it. Let me clear my throat. It's loading. Okay. Reminder that Fox is the easiest character in the game. And Falcon is lame as hell. And Puff isn't nearly as good as everyone thought. That's crazy.
So
That's a set of takes for sure.
So
S3?
Reese, you responded to this tweet. So how about you go first, and then Saint and I can
Alright.
go after you.
Sure. So I responded by saying, I think the first thing he said is true. I think the second thing he said is kind of, you could go either way. I personally don't think so. I think there are other lamer characters than Falcon. I think Falcon has a lot of really lame and uninteractive stuff, but he also has to work really hard to get a lot of that, and he also has a lot of really exploitable weaknesses, so it kind of balances out for me. Third one, where Puff is not as good as people thought. You could say that's true just because there's a subset of people who thought she was literally the best character in the game, and I feel like anyone with a brain at this point knows that's not true. But
Hey now,
if people think that Puff is like fifth, that's wrong too.
That's wrong.
I think Puff is very firmly a top 3 or top 4 character.
Okay.
Great take.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think well, it depends. This is the huge problem. I think one of the huge problems that comes with talking about what characters are easy or what characters are good is we don't have an established definition of what it means for something to be easy or good.
Yeah.
Do you is your character the easiest to get top 100 with? Because the answer for that might be true because like Fox is overrepresented on the top 100. He makes up something like, forget what exact percentage, but he's overrepresented basically.
Mhm.
Does it mean is it like the easiest to like execute with, or like what is it hard to like learn the character's basics? Is it hard to like for instance, Fox has so many ways you can play him. He's probably the only character, maybe Falco as well, where you don't have to adapt yourself to the character kind of adapts around you, and you like make some fine-tuning adjustments to like get to really push yourself into the top level. Whereas like a character like Puff, for instance, like or even like Sheik, there's certain ways the character has enough limitations and enough like a certain like has some tools that are really good and like a lot of kind of meh tools that you have to play a certain way for it to actually like work and for you to do well. If you define easy that way, then sure, I can buy this argument. If you define easy as your ability to like consistently execute under pressure in tournament, like maybe not. As someone who's like mained Fox at a couple different times now, the character is a lot harder to do well with in tournament. I notice in friendlies, like I'm playing friendlies, like I'm taking games off players who are way better than me, or at least way better than my Fox. But like to get into tournament, I'm suddenly like, oh shit, like Fox doesn't have like have as many kind of like his panic options are a little less good than some of the other characters.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. My counterpoint, up smash.
That move's really good.
No, for real, that's a good point though. And yeah, it's definitely two sides of the same coin where I think that Fox's game plans are very malleable, and that means that you don't necessarily have to do the insane situational analysis and theory crafting that other characters have to do. In my opinion, you definitely don't have
Oh,
to
you
do
you
that.
definitely don't have to do that actually.
Oh God, yeah. Like all of the MS Paint images that I've made for Puff, God no, I'd never have to make that for Fox because the answer is just like execute better, space better, or maybe be mindful of percents and whatnot. But
Great point, actually.
yeah, Fox is just like Fox is less of the theory crafting and more of the execution. And in a tournament setting, many people would lean to say execution is more important. I think that you can probably weigh them about the same, and my reason for that is that yes, Fox executing with Fox in tournament is difficult, and I'm not a Fox main, nor have I ever been, so I might be speaking out of turn here, but in my opinion, the anti-Fox strategies that you have to do, like hitting guaranteed combos, getting reaction tech chases, hitting edge guards, SDIing out of up throw up air, depending on the character, of course. Teching the 9 million shines he's going to hit you with. Always ASDIing down jab up smash. I think all of that anti-Fox counterplay is really freaking hard to execute also, no matter what character you're playing. Like having the punish game and having the defense and the situational awareness to not get completely just mowed down by Fox and like actually have a win condition, like that's really hard too. And I think that yeah, Fox players often do mess up in tournament. Like it happens a lot, and they give people free wins by doing that. But I think that's kind of that's not something that the non-Fox player can rely on. And so, in my mind, playing against Fox in tournament is almost as hard, if not harder, than playing as Fox in tournament. And then at that point, it comes down to who's the better character, and that's Fox.
Yeah,
So that's why I think
most of the time.
that's why I think he's easier.
So something you said that kind of made me think about this is you're saying that like playing against something that Fox does because of like how fast he is and how like he kind of his biggest advantage is probably his like unreactable mix-ups and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And like the defensive counterplay against him requires you to play fast. Like people like sure, you can say that Puff's execution is like probably not that hard in a matchup like Peach Puff, for instance, right? Like where you're both playing pretty slow.
That's just like can you drill up smash the matchup?
Yeah, can you? Which I find a way to mess that up all the time too. But but when you play Fox Puff, for instance, like your defense also has to be really really fast. Like or even against Falco, it's like that sometimes too. Like wave dashing underneath like a drill or like a Falco down air. That stuff is something that's incredibly precise defensively as well. And you also have to kind of like react to the situations that Fox puts you in, just as like in a more losing way than Fox, because Fox knows how he's going to hit you, but you don't know before you get hit how you get hit by Fox. Nope. And then you're in like this weird vortex mix up where you're like, oh, I guess like I have to do the right thing here or else I get hit more.
Golden, I think you're right, because hearing us talk about those situations, it made me realize like, wow, I'm really just trying to theory craft my way out of this situation. He's just trying to execute. So,
yeah. Really which you could say it's really hard to like objectively balance the kind of the pre-planning versus the pre-planning stuff versus the executing in the moment stuff. But and I think you can weigh them both in different ways. In terms of the Falcon thing, I'm on record for being like a huge Falcon hater. I think maybe Peach might be a little lamer against certain characters, but like when Peach is execution testing Spaceys, that's like mega annoying. But Falcon, I think, is probably my least favorite top tier to fight, and it's not close. He's not the lamest. I think probably Samus and Luigi are more lame for me in terms of like learning how to fight that character. But
Samus is like intrinsically lame.
Yeah.
There's nothing can be done.
This is kind of like my theory craft of theory, like, or my moral theory of coolness, and it's basically like if you think of coolness as like your capacity to be cool, like there's like Falcon has the capacity to be cool, yet all these Falcon mains are auto cancel back airing in center stage and like please run into my moves. It's like the Fox that just full hop back airs too. It's like,
Yeah.
you have the capacity to do the cool thing, yet you decide not to. Which is partially one of the things that makes the character really, really lame. Or at least certain people who play that character make that character really, really lame. And the last thing on Puff, I like what you said, Reese. I think it's really dependent on what you mean by Puff is worse than we thought. I think she's pretty comfortably fourth. I think she could be anywhere from second to fifth, and I think you could make a reasonable argument for that.
I think that's...
Maybe second to sixth, but that's very unlikely. I think she's probably third or fourth.
I think, yeah, three or four both sound very reasonable to me.
It's like the type of thing when it goes to like second or five or six, like I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably quite likely, but it could be the case. There's an argument to be made there. I just don't necessarily agree with it.
I think there's a world where she gets pushed super freaking hard, matchups become easier, and she's the second best. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but I think there's a world.
Mm-hmm. There's also a world where like Falcon and Sheik like figure out how to make their spacey matchups better. Well, I guess Sheik's Fox matchup better, and maybe Sheik makes her Puff matchup better, or Falcon makes his spacey matchups better somehow. Maybe we realize that like there are like reaction tech chasing with Falcon against spacies is actually like reasonable, and sometimes if you mix in the guesses well enough, then like it's actually winning for Falcon. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it's really hard to talk about sure things in Melee. So
yeah. All right.
That's all I've got now.
Let me go on my take.
Mm-hmm.
So with Fox being the easiest character in the game, I don't really agree with that like at all. But the way I like to think about the game is that in terms of like your execution or whatever, if you main that character, I really don't want to hear that shit as an excuse, to be honest. Like, that's your main, dude. You chose to main that character. You know what comes with that character. You should be good at those things. You know what I mean? And oh god, did I freeze? Oh no, golden.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so like, I feel like if you're just like copping out and saying, oh, well, my tech skill like just sucks because like it's just hard. Like the character's just hard, and that's just a stupid cop out in my opinion. At the end of the day, everything that your character is supposed to be doing should be easy to you, in my honest opinion. It should be easy to you. It is hard in the grand scheme of things, but like it should be easy to you. That's why you're like a competitive player, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's up to you to hit those hard things in the right moment,
Yeah, at the very least, I think like nothing should ever feel like unnatural. Like it's like frame perfect inputs are never going to be fully consistent, not only just because it's a one frame window, but because of polling and whatnot as well. So like people are going to miss one frame inputs regardless, but like nothing should feel like foreign. You should be like completely familiar with basically every situation your character puts you in execution wise.
Also, I don't think you should be going for one frame inputs, TBH, one frame lengths. In general, that just sounds inconsistent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Especially now that you can get, like, if you're serious about this game and you're playing at the highest level, you have a good controller, probably.
Mm.
Whether it's like a Rien or a Nez controller, or it's a rectangle. Like, those controllers are, like, especially if you really are like, it's like super expensive for me to like afford a decent controller. Like, you can get a Frame 1 Lite for like $130 or something.
That's so cheap.
It's like, and that controller's fucked up good. That controller's better than any GameCube controller right now.
Oh god, that controller is a scourge from God himself.
But
I'm gonna buy one.
Yeah, no, I'll get all the reaction tech chase rests.
So it's banned.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so next thing, I guess, for you two, the Falcon thing.
So Falcon is lame as hell. I don't even know how to really comment on that. Like, I just feel like, yeah, like any character could really just be lame. It's really just up to the player, not really the character. Samus, I've seen some dope Samus clips. Granted, does it feel lame to play against, or does it feel lame to watch? Those are probably two different things, right? Like, people love Falcon, right? To watch, but Falcon can sometimes feel lame to play against. Same with like every other character in the game, right? So That's just super subjective. There's no real reason for me to even, I don't know, put a real opinion on it. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of bend the goalpost to whatever fits the opinion that you want to share, and it probably sounds reasonable.
Exactly, right? It's just like, oh yeah, fucking Sheik's lame, Fox is lame, Falco's lame. You can say that for about any character, dude. It's just
You really can.
I think maybe he felt like he was doing something because people think Falcon's like an objectively cool character because he runs fast and he, nipple spike.
Yeah.
Me. Those are all, yeah, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, the third take, Puff isn't nearly as good as everyone thought. I kind of think Puff could be number one. I know. I hate saying that because I know I'm gonna get jumped. But like,
It's a defendable opinion.
yeah, like
Yeah, you're not saying she is. You're saying she could be.
could be. Yeah, definitely not is, bro. Definitely. Then again, I feel like everyone's kind of a could be too. Like Fox, he is right now in terms of like public opinion, and it's just like general consensus. Like, yeah, he's the best. So I'm down to go with the crowd and be like, yeah, he's the best. But I don't know. I don't feel like he really is either. I think there might not even be a best character in this game. Like this game's so balanced that just who fucking knows,
No, I think I buy that. No, I think I'm not sure. I always go back and forth between Fox and Marth being the best, but those characters are both so good. And Puff and Falco are also really good. Honestly, I can see arguments for Falco being the best. They're not
Yeah,
like this,
right?
but
That's
it's
pretty
hard,
good.
It's really hard to quantify what it means to be the best too. It's like a whole other thing, but I think that kind of wraps up that topic. That was like today when that tweet came out, so that's like fresh off the presses, that one. And I guess the last thing we can talk about is all the hack stuff that went. Oh man,
Should we go into it?
we can just say give a couple bits, and I think that's it.
Okay.
Like I don't want to comment on like his like his psychology or anything, but it's a shame that he kind of nuked his own career by doing that.
I don't think his career's over.
I don't think
Summit
so.
banned him.
You gotta. Who banned him?
Summit.
Summit?
Yep, they posted today.
Damn, that might as well be a career ending statement, dude. That's our biggest thing, but probably not.
I mean,
It's hard to say.
Like he doesn't. He is a company. Like that's. I think he will always have a platform in this game that can make him money, even if he can't go to most tournaments anymore. And also, I don't think every major is going to ban hacks. I feel like it would take a pretty strange consensus. Like not strange, but it would shock me if all of the TOs came to a consensus that hacks is ban worthy, even if it might be the right decision. But I don't think his career's over.
I
To
don't
keep
think
it kind of
Oh, sorry.
Generally, the rule. Sorry.
okay, just to keep it lighter. The best thing about that video by far is the music that plays during the evidence.zip section.
Yo,
it's
that
like,
shit's fire.
yeah, that's a banger. I need to figure out if that's just like royalty free music or if he found it.
I felt like it was Mega Man. I don't know why, but I think it's Mega Man.
I think it might be.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't actually watch the video. I only read the document.
I watched the video in one sitting. It was something.
The way bans basically work in this community now that the COC doesn't exist anymore is like it's on the region that the person's from to ban that person, and then basically every other community follows through. That's like how our global ban list chart works now.
Yeah.
And obviously it's up to specific TOs discretion after that, but most TOs kind of agree to like uphold those rules.
Yeah.
I personally didn't think it was ban worthy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I can't even imagine how
He just hates left.
mentally drained you would be to be Leffen right now.
Mm.
You know? So
I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's just kind of weird that like Levin's kind of just made so many people this like to go down this like crazy hole. You know, with the showcasing of evidence.zip, the original one, like while reading, I was like, holy shit, these guys have gone. I feel like these guys need therapy too. Everyone needs therapy. Levin is hurting these people, dude. And in my head, I do feel like it's kind of fucked up that we are brushing that off because it just has been like you know a reasonable amount of time, and like I feel like
Well,
that really
Leffen
just
got banned for that.
he did get banned for that, but what he's done, and now that he's back, that does not look great for Europe, in my opinion, either. And there's probably some people, you know, who quit the game and like they're talking about that like yeah, I used to play with like Leffen back in the day. He was a huge asshole, and that's why I don't play. And I don't know, maybe I feel like it might have hurt Europe more than that we are being led to believe, because that's literally a top player being just a huge asshole in your region, and that's just not going to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I have kind of a take about that. A lot of people who may or may not have read evidence.zip, either way, they're like, oh, he was a kid, he's changed. And he's changed to a degree, for sure. But I don't think because he's not calling people, like, R words and not, like,
Right.
taunting people into submission, like, IRL, and making them want to quit the game, just because he's not doing that. I don't think that's enough of a change to be like he's a changed person and this is like so distant in his past. Like people can be forgiven for their mistakes. He has, but I also don't think in the real world if somebody acted like this and then kind of was still a pretty controversial figure but mostly seen as like not a threat anymore, I don't think the opinion on that person would be like, oh, this is like an unassailable community pillar. People would be like, yeah, that guy had kind of a sketchy past and he's still kind of like
Yeah.
but we're okay with him now. Like I don't think that's what the sentiment is. I think people are literally like that shit never mattered.
Right.
He was a kid. It doesn't matter anymore. And I think Hacks did all of us a bit of a disservice. I think Hacks did himself a bit of a disservice by just kind of going off the deep end with this video
Yeah.
and just like filling it with so much stuff.
I was
And-
around for a few of the IRL things that he talked about, and honestly, like that's what makes me just say like, yo, why is everyone just like shoving this shit aside? Like you were there too. Like that's how I felt like reading the timeline. Like, yo, you were there too. What are you talking about? Like for example, this is the one thing I'll say, to not, you know, anyone else, you know.
Yeah.
So when Hacks mentioned that Leffen's tweet about HBox begging him to unblock him, I was there when that happened, and that the begging is not real at all. Like HBox didn't even care in the first place. This was at Summit 6, the one I went to. Me and HBox were teaming, and I felt bad that these guys had beef. I didn't know the extent of the beef. I was just like, I'm just a big fan of the game. I love Melee. I'm at Summit 6. Holy shit, this is awesome.
You extend the olive branch.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, Hungrybox, Leffen, you guys should make up. There's no reason for you guys to be fighting. There's literally no reason for you guys to be fighting at all. And they seem to be getting along, and I was like, hey, I think I was the one that asked Leffen to fucking unblock him, or I told HBox to ask Leffen to unblock him, and then I saw it happen. He asked them. I think Leffen said, we'll see. I'll think about it. And I think he might have actually unblocked them, and then he blocked them again later. But there was no begging, and that the choice of words I think is very extreme to fit a certain narrative that Leffen was trying to show to the world, and that's what the world believed, and it's very synonymous with a lot of other things he's said/done, which gives me a very off-settling feeling. But again, I don't think anyone should be banned or anything. I just think like, hey man, you like just don't do that stuff. It's just, I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah. Can I get on a soapbox for like 20 seconds?
Yeah, go for it.
Do your thing.
Okay. My impression of when that was all going down, like it all came to a head at like SmashCon 2018. Like remember when Hungrybox lost to M2K and lost to Armada, and he was like clearly just not into it, and then he made that tweet that was like "fuck this community." That's where it all really came to a head. And as that situation was going on, I really like. I'm not gonna say that I was like so dialed into the situation that I could just read the vibes before anyone else did, but it always gave me like Leffen is just trying to bully Hungrybox to me, and it got worse and worse, and they were getting really personal and they were beefing, and that's fine and all, but then like it just gets painted like it wasn't Leffen like really going after this guy and like borderline harassing him, or at least like trying to assassinate his character. And like I think that people make mistakes, and I'm not saying Leffen is like a horrible person for going about things like that. Sometimes people just beef, but I was honestly like disgusted by how the community reacted to how that happened and how they still view that to this day. Like
Yeah.
when people are talking about the Hacks video, people are like somebody will be like, you know, Hacks did make really good points about how Leffen attacked or is like a big reason why people didn't like Hungrybox. Guaranteed someone in the reply is like, no. Actually we all hate Hungrybox because real reason.
We all hate him.
Yeah, we actually just all hate him, and like those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like Leffen fucking assassinated his character, and people gave him a free pass for it, and I think that's really fucked up. I think that's like by far the most credible part of the video.
I gotta piggyback off that, dude, because you just reminded me of a bunch of memories of like the VIP room and how you remember how I was giving like an example that's like of like, hey, like Mango making fun of me or something like that, and the crowd, aka like the posses, all the other players in the room laughing at it. It's that same thing was going on, but with Leffen, and behind HBox's back, and in front of HBox too, but like on the HBox is like on the other side of the room, just like on his phone, just like you know vibing or whatever, talking to Crunch, and I think that's a very different type of talking to somebody because like the way I describe it with Mango, that's inclusive, right? The way Leffen did it, it's very exclusive, very like, you know, just that's not the way you're supposed to really do like this type of banter. And I guess you really just hate each other. But the stuff he was saying, it just no one even like brought any of the shit up. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like him just shitting on HBox in multiple different ways in the game, out of game, fucking his real life, whatever, fucking. All that shit, calling him a sociopath, etc. Like, just hearing all that shit in real life, and you know, I'm looking at HBox list across the room. I felt bad. I'm just like, he's not even speaking up for himself. He's just like, he's just taking it, and I feel like with HBox, he's kind of just used to that. So maybe that's just how he, you know, deals with these type of things. And I honestly felt really bad, and again. This is post evidence.zip. I'm a new player. I'm relatively new in the grand scheme of things. I was there in 2018. I saw what happened to HBox after he lost. Leffen didn't enter the tournament. Fucking HBox loses to Muta King or something like that. HBox comes in. Tosses his controller down because the crowd was so mad at him for checking his watch.
Oh yeah, that was so dumb.
Yeah,
what?
so HBox is having a like mental breakdown. I don't know how much I should really say, but I'm just gonna say like it was really bad. And then like Leffen's just like chuckling, chuckling, playing his secondary Marth. Like,
I don't know. Man. I think people can definitely stand to be kinder to each other. That is the bottom line.
It's the influence. It's the influence though that I'm more worried about. Like you can have these opinions, but you're literally influencing people to have the same opinion that's a hate spreading opinion in the same time. And that's the real problem for me.
It seems like I'm not sure how legit it was, but it seems like HBox and Leffen have like at least sort of made up since then, you know, but I don't know how legit that was.
But
do you remember that picture they had together where they were both like very clearly super drunk?
That was Summit 6. I was there. I was there.
Was that at Summit 6?
I think that was Summit 6.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
because that was my mission at Summit 6, dude. Like, I was like, yo, I'm literally gonna squash this beef, and then I go home and the beef is back. But
I just, yeah.
another point I want to add to, I do think exaggerating or like yeah, actually exaggerating, because there was straight up evidence about it. Your experiences for the Me Too movement to make you look better or like have a better story. So I don't know, because that part about like the 8 slaps or whatever to the 1-2 slaps or whatever.
Apparently, so what have you read Practical Tasks thing? Apparently that it's like Leffen's story is consistent.
Mm.
It's
Was it 8
just
slaps?
different from. Yeah, well, so Leffen originally said at least 5.
At least 5, okay.
Which 8 is technically at least 5. So I'm willing, and maybe Armada was there, but like it didn't happen to Armada, so maybe he doesn't remember it quite as well.
See Armada's like opinion on all of this. His name came up a lot.
Yeah, it's weird that I guess he just doesn't want to get involved, but you know.
But my point is like you could just say that you got slapped. You didn't have like there's something off about stretching the truth to gain more social ground. And
I don't even know if he was stretching the truth.
That's also true. I don't actually know either. But this in the video, there's a lot of evidence telling me that like he was probably stretching the truth.
Yeah, if you read, you should read Practical Tasks thing because he goes over that bit.
Okay, so I have to rethink my opinion on that. Then I'll get more information.
Yeah, but basically the bottom line is, I hope. It really sucks when people are beefing like this, and it sucks that it became this big thing. I think Hax did himself a really big disservice by making it look like this is a like it's Leffen's secret plot to make it Melee a totalitarian state.
That's too
or whatever.
much. That was too much.
It's just like, I don't know.
Just say fuck you and move on.
The delivery
is Definitely, yeah. It's kind of, this is also like the Leffen. It's like Leffen says something that like makes some points sometimes, but says it in a way that makes you never want to agree with it. But
he paused, so I
that's
won.
all I've got to say about that.
Yeah,
I don't really have much else. Hope everyone gets the help they need.
Me as well.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. Hax is banned now from Sun. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. But
we'll see more as time rolls on.
Yep.
I think that's basic because there's a bunch of tournaments going on, but I don't think we know anything about these. The only one I know about is Gale Summit, which is in like 2 weeks, I guess, or a week and a half. And I'm gonna be playing in that, which is lit.
Yeah.
Zamu's in it, LSD's in it, Kuyashi's in it, Raobeat's in it. And it's gonna be sick, so you guys should watch it. That's my plug for the day.
It's
also
on the
my Twitter
20th, right?
And also my lessons. Yeah, it's on the 20th.
I'm sure you want.
It's crazy because I have another course to do. I have like my Wilderness First Responder course. I'm doing that on the 13th to the 18th, coming back to Southern Ontario on the 19th, getting to Peterborough on the 20th, and then playing that day.
That's gonna be a fun week for you, dude.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be back for 2 weeks. Yeah. So does anyone have anything else I want to talk about, real quick?
I think that's about it, dude. We've been talking for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's typically how long we go to, Saint.
That is true.
Sometimes like 2.5, sometimes 3.5.
Yeah, y'all go hard.
Well, there's a lot of shit going on.
This is not your average podcast.
This was a good talk.
Yeah. No, I think we had a lot of fun, and thanks for joining us, Reese. It's been a pleasure having you.
It was an honor. Had a great time talking to y'all. Nice to meet you too, Saint.
Thank you so much for honestly coming on to the show, dude.
Of course, I appreciate it.
What's your next tournament?
My next tournament, net play wise, is probably just gonna be weeklies here and there, and then I'm gonna enter the rollback Rumble big one. And my next IRL tournament is Riptide. So
Hell yeah! Oh, dude, we're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah,
who are you rooming with?
I'm rooming with my roommate, actually. My roommate,
cool.
Who I'm moving in with this fall. We're just gonna drive up from Memphis.
That's sick.
It's gonna be great.
My room, I'm very excited for it. I haven't stayed in a hotel in so long,
Dude.
Mhm.
but
Nice
yeah, Golden
AC.
won't attend fucking locals according to Paladin.
Okay, well, the reason for that is that they do pools that don't affect bracket, and then you just have to like throw away an hour of your time,
Oh
like for
god.
I don't know. It's actually just me being lazy for real. Like
Yeah.
I just don't feel like going out most of the time. But I'm gonna go out this next weekend because I heard that our favorite local conspiracy theorist has watched the hacks video and is woke, and I want to hear what he has to say about it.
Oh man. But yeah, no, it's great. And what's your next tournament? Toussaint?
Uh, Gommel, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess that's next week too. I'm gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
missing the first day, so I can't enter. But
Is sign
2
up
days.
closed?
I don't think it is.
No, it's
Okay, I
not.
gotta get on that. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
Shout out
next
to
tournament too.
Canada. Yeah.
Let's go.
And I'll probably enter Pound too. That'll be literally right before I leave for the summer too. So
Yep.
anyway, I think we'll call it here then.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for listening, Chad. Thanks for having me on, y'all. And everyone have a good night.
Have a good night.
See y'all.
Peace. Later. What a great podcast. Episode 4 done with our great guest, special guest, Golden. Hope you guys liked it. That was really fun to do. As usual, of course. Golden's so chill too. That was my first time ever talking to him. Also, I would like to apologize right now about the left and me too thing. I did not know Practical Taz also dipped his toes into the whole thing. All I had to go off of was really that. I think I just got triggered at that part of the video. Being a victim of sorts to stuff. So my nostrils just